Right, let's crack on. Let's get to it. So this video right here is we're going to be breaking it down. It's broke down into little segments of every time I communicate with the controllers. So it's a full flight I did from Gatwick to Manchester. So there was full ATC at Gatwick. Then we went over to a couple of London controls, and then as we got to Manchester, there's a Manchester Tower and a Manchester ground. One thing to point out as well, when let's say there's a Manchester ground on, if there's no tower on at Manchester, then it's often enough the ground will do the tower as well, or vice versa. If there's no Manchester ground or there's no ground controller on at the airport you're flying to, the tower will do the ground as well. That's expect to see that. That happens most times. So this has been broken down into all the segments, and by this point you should be able to fly the aircraft that you're going to be flying. So I'm not going to be talking you through how to fly the bloody aircraft, what you should be pressing. At this point, you're on Vatsim, and like I said in my first video in the part one, when you're confident with the aircraft is when you should start flying on Vatsim. So let's get straight to it. The first thing I do when I get into the sim, I get to my stand. Here in this video, we're at Gatwick. We're in stand 105. And obviously in the V pilot, we'll show you how many controllers are on, who's on, what their radio frequency is. So the first thing you do when you get to your stand and you're ready, you look for the ATIS. So Gatwick's ATIS is what I was looking for, and it's the first thing I tune into. So let's press play on this. ATIS is going to be 136525. So my ATIS is 136.525. So I'm tuning that in straight away. 525. The main thing I'm looking for, it's going to tell me the information. So for example, there'll be an information Charlie, Delta, Foxtrot, etc. It's the information, because when I ask for my clearance, I need to know that information that I've listened to the ATIS. So let's have a listen. 136525.
Information Oscar.
So you heard that then. This is information Oscar, and then it will continue to tell me the conditions, the weather, etc. of the airport, the runway in use.
Time 2150 Zulu. Runway in use 26 left. Transition level, flight level 65. Surface,
65.
wind calm. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Broken at 500 feet. Temperature +8. Dew point +7. QNH 1035. Ground is open.
1035.
Departing aircraft make initial contact on frequency 121.805.
10-4 on that one. So right, it told us immediately that it's information Oscar. So when I asked for my clearance to Gatwick to the ground, I know it's information Oscar. So in the next little section, you'll see that when we contact for our clearance, once I've got my clearance, I can relax. Then I can start with my checklist and set up my flight. But to ask for the clearance, we're going to, what they want, there's a few things they want to know. So for example, I would say Gatwick ground, EZY901 at stand 105 in an Airbus A320 with information Oscar requesting IFR to Manchester. So they want my, let's just break it down. Let me just listen to the next bit. Gatwick ground, good evening, it's EZY901, it's stand 105. So I've told them my call sign, I've told them the stand I'm at. 5 an Airbus A320 with I told them my aircraft type, I've told them the information that I've listened to the ATIS, and now I'm requesting IFR, instrument flight rule to Manchester. Hello?
EZY901, Gatwick ground, good evening. Cleared Manchester, Lambourne 6 Mike.
Let me just pause it there. So I asked for my clearance. The ground controller's come back to me and he's told me it's the Lambourne 6 Mike departure, but when I set up my flight with SimBrief, I can see it's the Lam 6 Mike, which is the Lambourne 6 Mike departure. So yeah, that's all fine.
Departure, squawk 7016.
Okay, and he's just told me my squawk is 7016, which is how he's going to identify me. So yeah, I'm going to read that back to him, and always end when you're reading back, always end it with your call sign. Don't start with your call sign, end with the call sign as follows: 7016. So obviously at this point, everything that I get told, I write down. Cleared on the Lambourne 6 Mike departure, squawk 7016, EZY901.
EZY901, read back correct, port ready, push and start.
So I've turned on my transponder, and No, oh, I've already skipped it. So yeah, I turned on the transponder, put in my squawk. Happy days. Right, so is the next bit going to be... At this point, I'd have set up all my flight. I'll be ready to go. I know the QNH from my flight bag. I think at this point, I'm probably going to be asking for push and start. Like I say, this video has been broken down into little sections when I'm speaking to the controllers. So let's have a little listen. EZY901, stand 105, ready for push and start. So I'm telling him now, I'm ready for my pushback. I'm ready to start my engines. I also told him what stand I was at again.
EZY901, stand 105. Apologies, push and start approved. Face east, QNH 1034.
Right, so he's told me push and start is approved, so I'm allowed to start my push back and start my engines. He's told me to face east, so when I push back, he's told me which way to face in the taxiway, and he's also told me the QNH for Gatwick is 1034. So I'll read this back to him and end that read back with EZY901. Push start approved, face east, QNH 1034, EZY901. Right, so that's all done. So the next part, when we're all pushed back, the engines are started, we're ready for our taxi. We're going to ask for a taxi, so let's get to that. Right, Gatwick ground, EZY901, ready for taxi. So I've just said, Gatwick ground, EZY901, ready for taxi. So I've got my notepad and pen ready, because sometimes the taxiways can be quite far. I picked this stand because it's a pretty simple taxi out. I check all the charts beforehand, so I know 105, I'm going to be going Kilo, Popper, Alpha November for probably holding point Alpha 3. So let's see what he says.
EZY901, taxi holding point Alpha 3, runway 26.
So he's told me to taxi to the holding point Alpha 3, so you don't go past Alpha 3, but he's going to tell me the taxiways to take to get to Alpha 3. So let me...
left, via Papa and Alpha November.
So I'm going to taxi to holding point Alpha 3 via Papa and Alpha November. I'm going to read this back to him. Taxi to holding point Alpha 3 via Papa and Alpha November, EZY901. Right, so like I said on all my tips before, myself, I have a second screen, and on my second screen, I've got my flight bag, Navigraph, airport stared chart ready, so I can see my plane on the chart, what taxiway I'm on. And yeah, you can just follow that if you don't know it. If you don't have a second screen, or you're not flying the Phoenix, just do your groundwork, do your homework, make sure you know the taxiways. Always have them charts ready. But beforehand, before you even get to this point of taxiing, I've already known pre-flight. I know what the active is, and I have a rough idea of what the taxiways are going to be. But let's let it go. Right, sweet.
EZY901, contact London Control now, 129.430. Good night.
Okay, so there's no Gatwick. So this Gatwick ground, he isn't doing the tower as well. It's not always the case, but sometimes, like I say, when there's not an extra spot, there's not another controller on. Like right now, I should be speaking to Gatwick Tower, but there's not a Gatwick Tower on. But he's put me through to the London Control. There is London Control on, so he's told me to. He's done my clearance. He's done my push and start. He's done my taxis. Now I'm ready for takeoff. I'm going to be speaking to London Control because it isn't a Gatwick Tower. But like I say, more than often, the Gatwick ground or the ground, if there's no tower on, they'll just do tower as well, or vice versa. The tower will do the ground as well. It happens all the time. But in this case, there's loads of London sectors, load of London Control on, so I've been passed over to London Control. Contact London Control on 129.430, EZY901, good night. So now I'm going to tune on my radio. I'm tuned up to the London Control, ready to tell him I'm holding point Alpha 3 for runway 26, left, Gatwick. London Control, EZY901, holding at Alpha 3 at Gatwick.
EZY901, hello to you. Surface wind is calm, 26 left, clear takeoff.
He just told me, surface wind's calm, 26 left, clear for takeoff. So I'll just read that back. I won't say the wind calm, etc. I'll just tell him, clear for takeoff, 26 left, EZY901. Clear to takeoff, 26 left, EZY901.
London, good evening. Studio 5 Kilo Whiskey is passing
How long's flight time? Not long, mate.
270.
Right, so we've taken off now. What I always do, you normally have your transition. I go to 6,000 feet, and from there, I'll then change to my standard pressure, etc. But like I say, I'm not here to teach you how to fly the plane. If you want to know how to fly the Phoenix, I have a little noob guide. It's a little noob guide to the Phoenix, a very more in-depth guide to come soon. But I think here I'm getting passed over to another London control. Let's have a little listen.
901, report you passing altitude, climb now, flight level 190.
So it's asking me to report my altitude and climb to flight level 190, obviously 190, 19,000 feet. So I'm going to repeat this back to him. Climb now to 190, EZY901. The hell?
EZY901, fly heading 350 degrees.
So I love the being London control because they literally give you all your headings. They vector you the whole way to the arrival airport. So, and there's often but not, there's always London control on, and they cover massive sectors, massive areas, and they'll keep telling me different altitudes to go, different headings. But yeah, I do enjoy speaking to the London control. They'll guide me the whole way, and it's never anything too complicated. It's just like go direct to Alvos. I've climbed flight level 190, climb flight level, etc., etc. So we're over onto, we're speaking to London control now. Let me just go back a bit. 01. The hell?
EZY901, fly heading 350 degrees.
So now it's fly heading 350 degrees, EZY901. Fly heading.
And EZY901 is an Elvos 1 mark arrival for Manchester.
So that would confuse me back in the day. Elbus 1, what did he say? But because, like I say, another tip that I put on my first video, I always have my route open on a screen that I can see, or on a piece of paper that I can see. And what he's saying is it's the Alvos departure, Alvos 1 mic departure. So, but that all comes with experience. The more flights you do, the more you'll get used to the departures, especially if you're flying from the same places. You'll get used to the waypoints, etc. Let me just go back again, one sec. Heading 350 degrees, EZY901.
And EZY901 is an Elvos 1 mark arrival for Manchester.
So he's told me, yeah, it's an Alvos 1 mic arrival into Manchester, I think he said, was it? It's going to be the Alvos 1 mic arrival from Manchester, EZY901. So basically, you just always read it back with your call sign at the end. So I have a rough idea.
EZY901, report your heading to London Control 127.830. Bye bye.
So that there's always multiple London control on as well. So this time he's passing me off to a different sector, and he's asking me to report my heading. So I know I'm on a heading of 350. So I'm going to say London Control, EZY901 with you on a heading of 350. Report heading to London Control at 127.830. Bye-bye. EZY901. Right, let's go down. 127.830. 127.830. Surprising there's a load of controllers on at 11 o'clock at night. Nice. Right, where's the next clip?
Emirates 8261, change now to advisory 122.8. Good night.
When you get told to go onto a Unicom or advisory, it's the Unicom. It's there's no more ATC for you. So go and monitor the Unicom, which is 122.8. So if you've got no control, if you're flying and there's no control or no sectors, then you'd be on 122.800. Another thing, another little tip is Vatsim radar. Great website. You can see what controllers are on, what ATC are on. You can see their sectors. You know if you're going to have ATC or not. So Vatsim radar, I'd use that as well. I always use that to see who's on, who's about. That's where's the next. Control EZY901, currently flying at 350 degrees.
Easy.
So I've just reported my heading to the new London Control.
901 London, good evening. Climb flight level 240 and route direct Elvos.
Okay, so he's told me to climb to flight level 240 being 24,000, and he says route direct to Elvos. So you should know how to fly your plane that you're flying. Like I say, that's from the first video. Only come on Vatsim when you're really comfortable with the aircraft. So now I'd go down to my MCDU, the MUC2, and I'd go direct to Elvos and climb to 24,000 feet. They climb to 240, flight level 240. I'm going to be going direct to Elvos, EZY901. Right, I'm not fully familiar with the taxi.
901 descent level 80, turn right, heading 340 degrees.
Right, so I'm getting towards Manchester now. Turn right on a heading of 80. This is where I didn't hear him. I left this little segment in just to show you that if you don't understand him or you're a bit confused, just ask them to read it back. You didn't hear it. Could you repeat that, please, under control?
Easy 901, it's descend to flight level 80, then a right turn heading 350 degrees now.
Descend to 80, flight level 80, and turn right 350, easy 901. You said it a bit too quick, mate. Got a bit confused now, buddy. Well, you have to write stuff down.
901, turn right.
Here we go, more control.
Right heading 360 degrees, heading north.
Turn right heading 360 degrees, easy 901.
Shuttle 9 Yankee, contact London Control 127.830. Good evening.
So look, as you can see, I've had London Control the whole way. Obviously, I've missed a load of it out of the video because we're not here to watch the flight. We're here to listen to what kind of instructions you're going to get from the London Control, etc. You're just going to have your headings, your speeds, your altitudes, and your director vectors, which we've had a little example of. But now I'm getting into Manchester. This is going to be Manchester runway up here. And when your localizer established, 10 miles out, I would contact the Manchester Tower to tell them, Manchester Tower, easy 901, localizer established, 26 left. And he's going to tell me I'm cleared for London.
7.830, bye-bye.
Under control, easy 901, localizer established.
901, thanks very much. Contact Manchester Tower 118.630. Good evening.
So that was me just speaking to London Control, and now he's passed me over to Manchester Tower. So I've got to do the same to Manchester Tower. Contact Manchester Tower 118.630, easy 901.
Hello, good evening.
Shut up. Manchester Tower, easy 901, localizer established, runway 23 right. 23 right here, sorry.
And EZY901, Manchester Tower, good evening. Surface wind 0803 knots, runway 23 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 23 right, easy 901. So that's us just contacting the tower. They know that we're coming in, we're clear to land. Good.
Osprey 19 Golf Victor requesting push and start at gate 5.
We're good! I think I just left this running now. Yeah. So this is only the second time I've flown to Manchester on Vatsim, so I'm not 100% quizzed up on the taxiways. But when I vacate the runway, I'll take 2 secs just to sort out the aircraft, familiarise myself with the charts, the taxiways. Like I said before, though, I've already got the charts, the airport charts, to my left on my left screen, and I know. And even better with the Phoenix, with the Navigraph flight bag, I can see my plane at the airport. I can see exactly which taxiway it's going to take, which makes life a lot easier. But let's have a listen.
And EZ4, Papa Manchester Tower, good evening. Continue approach, runway 23 right, you are number 1.
Continue approach, runway 23 right, number 1, EZ4 Papa.
That's my friend Brian man behind us. Roger.
And EZ901, welcome to Manchester. Taxi stand number 10 via Alpha, Charlie and Lima.
So he's told me stand number 10 via Alpha, Charlie and Lima. So I'm just going to read this back. It's going to be Stand number 10, and we're going to taxi via Alpha, Charlie and Lima, EZY901. So that is pretty much it, guys. So now I'm obviously looking at my charts, making sure I follow the correct taxiways, which we do. I didn't have the airport installed on this flight. I totally bloody forgot. But here's stand 10. Fucking hell. Whoop, mind that. So yeah, it was a great flight. Full lot of control the whole way. Hopefully this video gives you a little more understanding and it helps you guys with your progression, getting into Vatsim. I know it can be very daunting and nervous. I mean, I stream and I've streamed for years. But still coming on Vatsim for the first time and speaking to the controllers, it's still very, you can be nervous. But I promise you, the more and more flights you do, the easier it gets. So yeah, if it helped, like, subscribe, let me know down below. Take care. See you on the next one. We're going to be live on Twitch with Sim O'Clock, all one word, Sim O'Clock. Quite a bit more. So get on over there. Make sure you follow, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out for now. Adios. EZY901.